All right. I think I should be live across the board. If anybody's got the oh wow, snap. If anybody's got the link. All right, I got to do the description before I can talk about any stocks, so let me do this real quick. I'm an associated member of T3 Trading Group, which is an SEC registered broker-dealer and member of FINRECIPIC. You should carefully consider whether trading is suitable for you in light of your own financial condition. Position disclosure here, I am no longer short TQQQ and Apple. We can talk about why in a minute, and we'll talk about some of the insanity of the day. All right, what's going on with Snap right now? Snap getting wrecked here after hours. Whoo, getting wrecked after hours. 22%. Man, their last earnings report was so fire, too. Crazy how fast that can change. We got numbers? What are the numbers? EPS beats, came in at 17 cents versus an 8-cent estimate. Sales misses by, oh, that's a lot of information. Where did it go? I just lost it. Stop scrolling down, VTF.
No, 600, I'm sorry.
Sales missed by not too much. That all looks decent so far. Where do I get to the bad stuff? Adjusted EPS is a beat. EBITDA. Free cash flow. Active users, yeah. Active users, North America is a miss. Europe average revenue miss. Yeah, it seems like all fourth quarter forecasts. No, we're not seeing guidance yet.
On the bottom, fourth quarter forecast, sees revenue.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, EBITDA guidance, not good. That's the most important part, right? You can miss on some of those top line metrics, and then if your guidance number is on a growth company like that, I mean, it's not as bad, but I don't think, although the market's down 25%, it reminds me of that PINS report from last quarter where they showed declining user growth, and that's all that matters. So they are taking this Snap to the absolute woodshed right now. Whew. All right. And what's Intel doing here? Intel down 2. Wow. Intel's off 5%. Should bring down that sock sell, I guess. All right. Let's jump into it. Spies here are up 0.25%. We're green again. Qs are up 0.4%. And the IWM is up 0.4%. So I mean, continued strength. This market's just so impressive, and we've been discussing the degree of upside extension here in this market, and it's kind of been time correcting, but it's also given further little moves. Like, we basically spent all of yesterday time correcting, but we had an initial move. We continued that time correction all day today in the SPYs until in the last hour we got another move. So that correction is bullish. I mean, the time correction is bullish, and this market's so strong that it won't even take a seat for a minute. There's no technical pullback at all, and the price correction lasts like half a day before the upside grind continues. So the SPYs are spectacularly strong. The NASDAQ, which closed negative yesterday, similar situation, spent a lot of today just kind of consolidating beneath yesterday's range, and then that had this rip-roaring rally into the close. So by going sideways here, it's enabling this ADMA on the Qs to catch up, and that's obviously bullish. I do still think that this market needs a little bit more time before we can come in and start doing a lot of buying. And then the IWM was able to catch a bid today as well. So we have a bullish market across the board once again. The concerns are still extension, because this market's not really giving us a deep pullback at all. It's been barely even a time correction, and that's pretty much where we're at. I think the game plan remains the same here until this ADMA can catch up to price action a little bit. But I think it was yesterday morning when we were doing our morning research. We kind of highlighted the sentiment indicator, the short-term tactical sentiment indicator was kind of in the sell zone this morning, because we spent enough time correcting yesterday. It was just outside of the sell zone, and then we got a little bit of continuation today. So for that reason, I'm pretty quickly out of the shorts that I put on yesterday, and they were profitable, so I can't complain. I got out of Apple. Apple's above yesterday's high, but is still beneath 150. So that was just a cute little day trade because of the extension yesterday, and helped to hedge my portfolio in case the market price corrected, which obviously hasn't happened. I did a good job shorting the TQQQ yesterday, closed a lot of that by the close. I added back a little bit of it today, but never got too heavy. So this also turned out to be a profitable short for me, and was also helping to hedge my portfolio. But the market's too strong. Getting above yesterday's high for Apple and for the NASDAQ, I just got to exit these positions and kind of revisit. So that's where the market is there. I don't really think that there's too much to talk about it, because it's a similar situation as we've been in for the last day or 2 days, even with just the upside extension that we're looking to price or time correct to give us a new setup to get back heavier on our long positions. So when a market's showing me something like this, when it's just continuing to grind higher, I prefer just to be slowly booking profit on long swings and not trying to fight the market with shorts. So that is where we're at with the big picture. As far as some names today, so first of all, Tesla. I thought this Tesla was going to be difficult today because I thought the numbers were kind of mixed and had a really big move going into it. So usually when a stock has a really big move going into it, the numbers being like good or okay are usually not good enough. A lot of times they need to be excellent. Of course, we never really know exactly how the market's going to react to an earnings report until we see the price action. And this gap down this morning was very quickly bought up in a huge way. And then the real setup here, I think, was this. This technical bull flag established itself around 10 a.m. or so, and I know a couple of you guys took this trade with success off of this bull flag for continuation up to $900 in Tesla. It held $900 almost to the penny. What's the high here? Yeah, 900 to the penny, actually. $900 is the high of the day. And all-time highs coming into this are $900.40. So Tesla did not make new all-time highs today by 40 cents on their earnings report. It's a really impressive move considering the move that it had into the report. And, for people who are just objective technical traders, gave a really good setup in here. Next focus was definitely this WE. WE is something that I've been really focused on. I've built a strong position for myself into this while it was BOEX. Okay move. Pre-market, it printed a little bit above $12. I honestly was looking for more, so I'm a little bit disappointed, but I can't be too disappointed. It's still okay, and we've definitely seen some of these SPACs have like an okay day one, and then really start waking up on day 2, day 3, day 4. So we'll see if Wework's able to do that. I still do think that this thing belongs at higher prices. I really think this belongs at least $15, but the market is smarter than me, so we'll see how that plays out. I do think, though, at this point, you might be able to use today's low as your stop loss. For me, I'm really looking more into the $10 area. I'm probably not going to be giving this now to that all-time low from that sell-off after the vote 2 trading sessions ago. I'm probably going to keep it a little bit tighter than that because I don't really think it should ever be breaking back down again. And if it starts breaking back below 10, I can always get out and kind of reassess. So, WE was solid for the people who, swung it into today, especially with that move pre-market. Though, again, for me personally, I was looking for a little bit more. Got to mention the insanity today, which was this DWAC. Looks like they announced this, that it's going to be a SPAC for like a Trump media corporation, and this is the most insane. Honestly, what DWAC did today up until about noon is what I wanted. It was what I was looking for from We. And then post noon, just forget it. I'm not looking for that from anything because this move was insane. I mean, stock was up 500% plus at highs today. Just completely insane. I know a few of you guys caught this to the long side really well. So if you're one of those people, congratulations. I know a few of you also, and I'm in this category, were trying to strategically short it in certain spots, and that did not work. So I lost money in this DWAC. I lost more money than I probably should have allowed myself to lose on it. But once this thing had its breakout above 20 bucks, you really got to just be out of the way on this. And this is why, you know, if you're taking trades in anything, long or short, but especially to the short side in this market environment, you really got to make sure that you have your stop losses out. You got to have your risk management out for that reason. And for people who are taking this to the long side, which I know some of you guys did, once again, congratulations. There were definitely some good trades here. And this is also why you want to implement the trailing rules that we constantly speak about if you are long. Because there's no reason to just, you know, exit this position anywhere on the way up if you were long, especially once it broke above $20. If you're implementing my trailing rules on this, you basically never get stopped out of it until, depending on how tight you were, until the 2 p.m. bar, where, you know, it down ticks from $50 back to like 40 bucks, and maybe you're getting stopped out here at 42 on the break of these pivots. And if you did that, that's just a fantastic job. Again, I was on the wrong side of this one, and probably fought it a little bit more than I should have earlier in the day today. But luckily, I was able to exit out of the majority of my position and not be, you know, super heavy for a run to $52, and, you know, that would have been that would have obliterated me. So you know, again, risk management is definitely the key to the business, and you got to have your rules in place for it. And also, again, for the guys in the team who caught this to the long side, I know a handful of you put up some really serious P&L in this. So if you're one of those folks, again, congratulations. Great job recognizing the trade and being involved in it. And that, I think, is really all I got for today. I hardly even looked at the market. I know Pat said the same thing. I had to pay attention to the market to some degree just because I was trying to keep the TQQ short and the Apple short relatively tight, just because I know it's a bull market and how strong the market is. But outside of that, you know, between watching DWAC here and watching Wework, I was hardly even looking at the market at all. And I didn't even go through. There was a lot of other stuff that worked really well today that people were talking about. Skills had been a call out. This one gave a great trade. What was the one that we had 2 days ago, and then we called it out again this morning for further continuation? CHPT, right? There's another one. CHPT for continuation through 21-26. Also, beautiful trade here. And again, I know some of you guys were involved in both of those names. So if you caught those things, awesome. Congratulations. Keep up the fantastic work. You know, a lot of good stuff out there. The teamwork in the VTF really has been excellent. So let's keep it going. I love seeing you guys helping each other to make money. It's the best. All right. With that said, scrolling up into the VTF, a lot of Snap chatter. Is Facebook moving on Snap? Is that what's going on here? Facebook's wrecked here. Facebook looks like it's moving on Snap's earnings a little bit. Is Twitter moving on it too? Yeah, Twitter, Snap, Facebook, social media land is getting destroyed here. Facebook bearish action had hit. Wow, 347 today. Very nice. SPY's all-time highs tomorrow was the question. I assume that there's some half sarcasm behind that question, but maybe. The all-time high for the SPY's 454.05. For the actual SPX, it's probably a little bit lower than that. We're probably even a little bit closer to the all-time high in the actual S&P cash. But yeah, you know, we're knocking on heaven's door, right? We're right there. I would still make that argument that we have a degree of extension in this marketplace that might need a little bit of time, though. So we'll see. Interesting how the Qs are off $1 after hours, but Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA are all up. Yeah, you know, Apple's up very small. It's more like it's not selling off, but it's definitely a result of, you know, what we're seeing in Facebook right now and Snap. That's hitting the Qs down. And unfortunately, I'm now out of my TQQ short. But, you know, again, you got to manage risk, right? I don't see Microsoft is up a lot after hours. It's 1075 is where it closed. It looks like there was one 300 share print up at 311. It's just 25 cents. Google's getting hit after hours also. Scrolling through here, looking for more questions. And mainly just chatter about everything, right? Today was so crazy. The Facebook Snap connection? Sure, Mike. So the question is, can someone explain the Facebook Snap connection? Sure, they're both social media companies. So the assumption here is that if people are using less Snap and Snap's not meeting their metrics or whatever, then people are probably going to be similar for Facebook, right? Probably similar in terms of them not using it, and that's what the thought process is. Fed to ban policymakers from owning individual stocks. I'm sorry, but that's BS. And it should be that way. But how is the government going to come in and ban the Fed members from owning individual stocks when the government itself still can? How are they going to do that? It's so hypocritical. It's completely nuts. Someone needs to regulate the politicians. It's unreal. They're the only ones in the world who are allowed to insider trade. And then, you know, a couple little trades by the Fed. And not only, you know, I read a little bit more research on one of the two guys who quit, who is a Fed member. He got smoked. You know, he was front running the Fed policy announcement, and he got smoked. I'm pretty sure is what I read. He was buying stocks right before the crash. He got destroyed in here. It's crazy. It's just nuts. We gotta stop the politicians from being able to legally trade on the information that they have. It's just ridiculous. Is AMD moving on Intel? Yeah, AMD's up over $1 after hours off Intel being down. We've seen that before. I really don't know the degree of that correlation on why that's better for AMD when Intel doesn't do well. I don't really fully understand that, but I do know that I've seen it before. So yeah, solid on AMD. And I'm still in, and I hope everyone else is still in too, right? From the trade call out and just implementing your trailing rules. This is exactly what we're talking about for reward maximization. Though it's getting a little silly. It's getting extended again. Does anyone know when AMD reports earnings? Because I will probably liquidate my position prior to that. Next here from Marty. Hey, Derrick,
Tuesday.
help. It's Tuesday?
10:26.
Okay. Thank you. Tuesday, you bought to open a handful of pins. On Tuesday, what's today? Thursday? So you bought it before the announcement yesterday? Congratulations. Oh, yeah. You got a trail. So let me just read out the question out loud because I know not everybody can see it. Tuesday, you bought pins weekly calls at 11 cents. The next morning, which is yesterday, you sold them at 55 cents. Not a bad move, but by 1 p.m., those calls were worth over $2. What am I doing wrong? Yeah, you're not trailing. you know, the reward maximization aspect of trading is what you need to focus on. I think in some ways it's a little bit trickier with swing trading of options because you're also going to be dealing with time decay. But broadly, you have a position that's working really well for you and is really moving in your favor, similar to like the AMD that I'm in right now. Like when I bought this on the 13th at like 106.75. Sure, I was looking for a move. I thought maybe I could get a move, you know, to $12 or $12.50 over the course of a handful of trading sessions. I didn't expect that a handful of trading sessions later it'd be at 121, but it doesn't mean I don't have the position, right? Because I'm just implementing a trailing stop approach for reward maximization based on this. And it goes back to what I was talking about with even that DWAC. I don't care. I don't think that anyone could have expected when this thing was given its nice opening move here, even when this thing was ripping to $14, $15, $16, I don't think anyone would have said at that point, I'll see you at over 50. But it doesn't mean that you can't have stock for that entire ride. And again, the way that you do that is by having a system, a rules-based approach that enables you to trail your stock as it's working higher, as it's moving in your favor. And that's what you need to do, whether it's DWAC or whether it's this pins or whether it's AMD, whatever your time frame is, trim and trail. You know, if you've got a lot of stock, if you're heavy, you can piece out of some on the way up for sure. If you want to be really greedy, then you don't even do that. You just purely trail. And if you have a lot of stock, I still don't think, for the most part, you should piece out of everything. You know, keep a little bit to enable it to continue to pay you. So yeah, that would be my thought process. Pat here saying that Snap misses on revenue expectations following Apple iPhone policy changes. Yeah, you would expect that would hit Facebook too. Yeah, all of them. It's obviously everyone loves to rush to Nancy, but she's probably one of many of the politicians who are, I mean, I'm sure they all do it. I would do it if I was a politician too. Imagine being able to insider trade with no repercussions. Scrolling through here, seeing if there's any other questions. NVIDIA, I assume, is up after hours also. NVIDIA looks great too. There's a trade here, I think, for tomorrow for NVIDIA versus today's high, 224.33. And it's not that extended. The ADMA caught up to these lows the last couple of days. I think NVIDIA looks good. We can look at that one for tomorrow morning. Cool. Is that it? This is going to be a really fast meeting. I'm surprised there's no other questions. I really didn't have too much to say today because it was just a handful of stocks that were kind of majorly in focus. You know, outside of the fact I'm a little bit disappointed on the move in Wii. Pat, is there anything else in the YouTube? No? Okay. Well, then I guess we'll call an easy one tonight. At around 250. I thought it was running. So a question in on DWAC. No, all good. Especially because we're early here. All right, at around 1450, so 250, right around here. I thought it was running and didn't want to chase. How would I discern the difference between not wanting to chase it and having momentum? Yeah, so I mean, I had written into the VTF a little bit of a warning on this pullback. This looked like finally the real capitulation top here above 50, and it was. And I didn't know what degree of a pullback would come in from off of that. I'm actually surprised that it's not deeper. But you want to be very careful when a stock gives a move like this, in this case of being up over 500% at highs, and the selling starts coming in. Because a lot of times that selling is a feedback cycle. You know, people who have stops here bring those stops, you know, trigger the next stops that are lower, which triggers the next stops that are lower. The algorithms that were buying the whole way up flip and they're selling the whole way down. So that does happen a lot, especially in these high flyers when they top out. So the warning I kind of mentioned in the VTF was, guys, be very careful fighting this on the way down. And honestly, you could have went long off that 40 buyer that was there, and it would have worked out for you. I don't think that that's a responsible trade anymore. I think that once this thing actually capitulated above 50, you needed to be done with it on the buy side. On the buy side, you know, there were plenty of trades here through 20. This ascending triangle, when this ascending triangle broke through 30, that led to a massive explosion also. So there were definitely opportunities to get long this thing on the way up, just as pure technical trades. But I think you got to be very careful doing that on the way down. It's like you guys hear me say in the morning meetings a lot when we're reviewing them, like these momentum stocks and their daily charts. It's like, all right, we identified the daily level, but I only want to be involved in this if it's breaking above, if it's moving higher on that volume or on that option flow or whatever it is. You want to buy momentum names high to sell them higher, right? That's kind of what momentum trading is, and these are literally called momentum stocks. So you want to try to buy these things high to sell them higher when the technical patterns are there. That would have worked great in this thing on the way up, but then you got to be very careful buying these things on the way down. Because that same momentum that ripped it higher can absolutely bring it down. And it's not unusual at all, even though it didn't happen in this case. It's not unusual at all. If I wouldn't have been surprised in the least bit to see a move like this up to 50 lead to a move back down to at least 30, if not lower. And it still would be a sick, you know, if this thing closed at 25 today, it still would have been 250%, which is sick, right? But that's how those feedback cycles work. What selling leads to more selling, which leads to more selling. It just, this thing was so strong, I never actually gave that follow through. That's the after hours. That's probably moving on Snap also. I know it's not a social media company, but if Snap is warning because of the Facebook iPhone rules, there's a good chance that is maybe affecting Etsy as well. Cool. Yeah, it would have been really, the break of that 40 would have been massive slippage too, Gabriel, for sure. All right, gang, I guess that's it. So we'll wrap up today's meeting a little early today. You know, some of you guys, great job today. Congratulations to the people who put up some big P&L. I think I'd probably wait now, Ben. Wait for tomorrow. It's already down 25%. And that's it. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a great night.